Hey guys, do you want to meet the books? It occurs to me that my favorite videos that you guys post are the ones in which you show off your books, what you're reading, what you have, what you want, that sort of thing. Just because books are such a big part of my life. And it occurred to me that I'd never really made a video like that myself. I mean, I made like book recommendation videos, but I hadn't just shown you my shelves. So I'm going to do that. And I've got a crap ton of books, so I think either I'll skip a bunch or I'll break it up into multiple videos or something, I don't know. But I thought I would start with my shelf that I keep more of my generalized occult, non-Wiccan, pagan stuff on, just because, you know, we don't need another video of me showing you books that pretty much all of you guys have or have read. So these ones are a little bit further off the path. Okay, so here we go. I won't talk about them individually, I'll just kind of give you a scan. This is where I keep the Norse stuff. The contemporary Norse religion stuff is sort of intermingled with history books and mythology books, and this is where the rune books live. Yeah. Moving on to, I don't know, this is kind of, like, there are a few of the Druid books. Things are kind of cobbled together. I don't keep things in any sort of specific order just because that would be crazy, and I would go crazy. But they're more or less, like, this is the herb books, with some Crowley thrown in for good measure. General sort of occult. A few of the books from Llewellyn's Ceremonial Magic series. The Blue Equinox. Some more Crowley. Moving down, some Fraser. Blavatsky. More Crowley. This is where the Dion Fortune books live, too. Mostly, I've got some more scattered around. Franz Barden. Lots and lots of Dion Fortune. Like 3 copies of the Mabinogion. The Odyssey. More Crowley. Here's where it starts getting more Wicca-y. Joseph Campbell. Some Yeats. Some Victorian stuff. Werewolf stuff. I will also add that my owning a book does not necessarily mean that I endorse said book. Let's see, the giant snake. Yeah, now it's getting into the Wicca stuff. This is the, I love this book just because it's so ridiculous. Wicca, an Irish Pagan Tradition by Edain McCoy. Quite possibly one of the worst books Llewellyn has ever printed, ever. McCoy gets made fun of nowadays for being the propagator of what has come to be known as the ancient Irish potato goddess myth. I mean, everything in that book is totally fabricated, which lends it a significant amount of entertainment value as far as I'm concerned. Ooh, this is fun. This is an original cassette from Kenny and Zipporah, who were founders, 2 of the founders of the Blue Star Wicca tradition, which I was a dedicant of for several years before I left. Back up, back up. Yeah. So there's one shelf. You see what I mean when I say that it would take too long for me to talk about them individually. If you saw something that you want an opinion about, you know, I'll be happy to share it. But my interests are kind of all over the place. But you know, I've gotten a lot of questions, and I've seen this question expressed in a lot of forums and YouTube, etc., about kind of next steps, like once you've read the Wicca 101 kind of stuff, what do you do next, and why aren't there any books for advanced practitioners, and blah blah blah. And my reply is that these are the books for the advanced practitioner, the next step. You start looking into things, you start examining where Wicca comes from, why we do some of the things that we do, how it fits into a wider framework of European occultism. I mean, that to me has been really, really valuable, and a lot of my understanding of Wicca has come from research that I've done into the Golden Dawn, or the work of Aleister Crowley, Victorian Romanticism, etc. That stuff is really, really useful. Or even just, general sorts of mythology from various parts of the world. I mean, these things are all really closely related. So, anyway, that is that. Here's the large shelf that's Wicca specific. These are cool. How about I show you these for a sec? These are old copies of the Farrars, The Witch's Goddess and The Witch's God. I scored and got lucky and found signed copies. And look, Janet Farrar drew a creepy picture, which was pretty awesome. So those were a good find in a used bookshop. They're both signed. Let's see, some Penzak. Oh god, the Teen Witch Kit. Oh yeah. Jealous. Yeah. The annuals. Here's a, oh ow. Just smashed my hand against the shelf. This was Llewellyn very briefly had a Teen Witch day planner. I had an article published in, I think in, God, was that 2003? 2002? Something like that. Here's where the Ravenwolf books live. I should also take this time to let you know, there's a couple copies of the Pomegranate. Take this time to let you guys know that this collection has been assembled over probably 15 years or so. Some Valiente. These were limited edition copies of Where Witchcraft Lives. There's Oliver being a butt and jumping on the altar. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of these are academic texts. Let's see, moving down. Yeah, so this collection has been assembled over the period of many, many years. And also, I should let you guys know that I'm at least partially funded from my school and my academic pursuits, just because reading and writing about this stuff is quite literally my job, which is how I justify having way more books than any one human being actually needs. But it's pretty awesome. Again, here's my dog-eared copy of Meaning of Witchcraft. I've got older copies of Gardner books, but of course I don't write in them. Yeah, again, if you see anything that you want specific, there's another copy of Wicca. You can see I've got double copies of several books, and that happens when people either give me books or else sometimes I find used copies of things in, obviously, used bookstores. And if they, I will buy, I'll buy used books like that for a number of reasons, even if I already own them. I will buy them if they're annotated by their previous authors, just because of this voyeuristic impulse that I have to sort of try to get into the minds of other people. I've got a number of copies of both To Ride a Silver Broomstick and Teen Witch, just because those two books are the two texts that I find are most commonly written in heavily. And I've got some copies that people have turned in. I can't even imagine giving up books like this, where people have treated them almost like diaries, writing about things that they've tried and their favorite spells and that sort of thing. And that's really, really interesting. Or I will pick up used books if I know that they're out of print, or I know someone who wants them, or I think that I might be able to give them away or put them to some other sort of use in the future. which is how that giveaway that I did, that's pretty much the story behind each of those books that I gave away. I acquired them used or something of that nature, very, very inexpensively, knowing that I would probably give them away in the future, which works out well. So, again, another pass. You know, you can't see many very well. And there's a lot of mass published stuff, kind of stuff here. But I've got several independently released things. That's where the Bonowitz lives. Some Philip Heselton. Everyone needs some Philip Heselton. Most of this is academic right here. Lots and lots of Chas Clifton. Yeah. So, there you have that. That's where the Cunningham books live. Yeah, so there you are. Here's the last big magical shelf. This is where the African diaspora, voodoo, Santeria, etc. books live. This is a really big part of my research right now. I'm, as you have probably gathered from past videos, I'm working on a project now that has to do with reevaluating I.M. Lewis's treatment of spirit possession and marginality. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm sort of evaluating the place of middle-class white Americans in voodoo and Santeria. Which is, anyway, this is where the tarot books live. I love tarot. It's a significant part of my practice. There's La Santa Muerta. I picked her up at a hoodoo shop in San Francisco. Little known fact, guys, I collect Chick tracts. I especially love the ones that have to do with why the occult is evil. I don't know if you've ever seen these, like tucked under your windshield or distributed. This one's about the evil of Catholicism. Dun dun dun. Why is Mary crying? Because she's Catholic and damned. Anyway, I think these are awesome. I mean, they're awful, but they're awesome too, and I think that the history of Chick tracts is really, really interesting. This one's about the evil of Santeria. Anyway, these are pretty great. Officially in school, I work in American religious history. And again, officially, I focus on evangelical Christianity, of which Chick tracts are a part. So, let's see. Here is the witch-related fiction, and some more tarot books, because they just didn't all fit. So here's these are the early edition copies of the Sweep series, and then Kate Tieran also had a series called Balefire, Silver Ravenwolf's teen series, Circle of Three series, some Terry Pratchett, Bell Book and Murder, which is a really, really awesome book, Rosemary Edgehill. The protagonist is a Gardnerian priestess, which I really appreciated. Oliver! I'm bored with your book videos, feed me again! I also have a couple pieces of evangelical fiction about the evils of practicing Wicca. So, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Brio series, but it's aimed at adolescent girls, and, you know, it's supposed to deal with life issues, and, you know, these are all about teen girls who essentially go through traumatic life experiences and turn to Wicca, and it leads them to Satan, and then they're redeemed through Jesus, and blah, blah, blah. So, I write about that sometimes. More mythology and general sort of Wicca stuff. Some more Ronald Hutton. This is where some of the feminist, ironic quote marks intended, discussions of witchcraft. There are a lot of discussions going on YouTube right now about transgendered women in Dianic Wicca, etc. I have many, many feelings on this, and that might warrant its own video, but I have a number of problems with these traditions of witchcraft. Ghost stories, Andrew Lang's fairy book stories. These are all... Oliver. I think he's in the tub. What are you doing? Excuse my bathroom is totally a mess. Oh no, there he is. I'm on the windowsill. Silly cat. Okay, so these are copies of New Witch and Pangaea. I've got all of the New Witch. I've been a New Witch subscriber since the inception of the magazine, and it's changed now. It's Witches and Pagans. And then Peter Paddin's The Crooked Path, which I don't know if they're printing anymore. His podcast kind of comes in and out. Fairy stuff. Yeah, like I said. And then more kind of adult-oriented witch-related fiction. So here's the Marion Zimmer Bradley and the Silver Raven Wolf. More fairy stories. Stranger in a Strange Land, Erica Young. Yeah. So, there we go. That's Oliver rolling around on the bed behind me, you can hear. What are you doing? What are you doing? What you doing, huh? I'm gonna stop now that you're looking at me. Okay. So, just moving back up. This is really, really cool. I found this at a used bookstore. It's a history of playing cards. And I think stuff like this is really under-considered in discussions of the tarot, just because I think it's important to kind of understand the tarot in context of a wider tradition of card play and card divination. And it offered a lot of insights that I couldn't just have gotten from a history of the tarot, you know. So several of these are history books, and others are practical books. Some of them of higher quality than others. Back to the Orisha stuff. So, there you are. Yay! Here's a pile of Bibles. This is my favorite. It's the Gamer's Bible. Jesus for the win! You can see he's holding a controller there. Christianity's kind of awesome, guys. Okay, anyway, have a good day.